Hello and welcome to another review. Today we'll be reviewing the Inari by Talon Games. This is marketed as a high-speed pad. It has a coating and it comes in at $110, 490 by 420, and I believe a 1mm thickness. We're going to break into it. We're going to cover how I feel about it and just overall how the pad is. Appreciate you guys, and let's get into it. So first we're going to break into the size and edges. It is 490 by 420, which is the most common size and is personally my favorite. There isn't much else I'd change about that when it comes to that. When it comes to the edges, it is more of a squares, like a square edge. It doesn't really have the crazy rounded edge that a lot of the pads do. It's a very thin edge. It doesn't go into the pad as much as something like the Polarity. It is a little sharp if you rub your hands over it like this, but it's not like gonna actually like hurt you or anything. It's not like hurting my performance or anything like that. I don't think it's something to be worried about, but it is a bit more of a square and less rounded edge, so just keep that in mind. Thickness, it is 1mm. It is one of the thinnest pads I own. The one thing I don't like, I don't know if you can see it on camera, it bends when you're holding it in your hand a bit, and I don't like that. I feel like it's almost too thin for that, and it is one of the things that I have to speak negatively about this pad is the thickness. I think there's an extent of going too thin with a pad, and this is that. I don't like a pad that bends in my hand and wobbles. I think it should be straight and not move. But besides that, I think it's pretty good overall with the edge and size, and we're going to break into the base now. Okay, so now we're going to break into the base. It is using it's using pretty much a smooth, but it has these little hexagon or these little squares that are a little bit different texture in between them. So it does have a bit of that grip, but it is one of the smoother silicones, so it is going to move a little bit. It's not going to go all over your desk when you're flicking. You see, it's not like I'm putting pressure, and it's not going to go anywhere when it comes to that, but it does move a little bit when you're going hard on your hands. It is something to be acknowledged about, but I don't think it's a make or break for me. If it does slip a little bit, when you get it, you can add a little droplets of water and it'll help it stick a little bit more. But I don't think it's anything bad. I do wish they used a bit more of a hexagonal pattern or something of silicone that kind of sticks to the desk a bit more. So the thing you guys are probably most wanting to hear is about the texture and surface. So as I said before, it is marketed as a high-speed coated pad. When it comes to speed, I don't think it's high speed per se. I wouldn't even put it really in the speed category. I would put it in the balanced speed, leaning speed. It doesn't feel like, it's not like the Sayo where it's extremely fast. It doesn't feel like that. I would say it's still quick, and then obviously it being really smooth helps it feel quick. But I don't think I could market it, or I don't think I could say it's an ultimate speed pad. It's more balanced leaning speed. It's on the quicker side, but I wouldn't say it's something that is extreme. When it comes to texture, it's on the smooth side. I would probably just label this pad as a smooth leaning speed pad. You're not going to have as much stopping power due to the texture, having no texture. It does feel like you have decent control over the pad. It's not like extreme no stopping power. I can't stop at all. I can still stop pretty well on this pad, and it doesn't have that push-in ability, so you really don't slow down when you're pushing in. But I would say the stopping power is there, but it's not like the high textured stopping power that you'd be able to feel your skates and stop on that. So when it comes to that, I would say that it's pretty solid in terms of what it does. It's a smooth, about like leaning speed pad, and it marks those check marks. Coating wise, I don't feel much skin stick on this pad. I wouldn't say it's Polarity level of no skin stick, but it's up there. It definitely is noticeable that it has a coating just by the feel of it and stuff like that. Let's now cover the comparisons and the conclusion. Actually, I forgot to say, let's cover gaming really quick. I probably should cover that. I know you guys mostly use these pads to game. When it comes to TAC FPS, it's going to be smoother, leaning towards speed. So it's going to be a little bit harsher on the micro adjustments and stopping power. You're not going to have as much of it as like a balanced texture pad or something like that. You still have stopping power. You can micro adjust on this pad. Don't be worried about that. But it's a bit less stopping power than I would want for TAC FPS. So that's something to be acknowledged about. Now, when it comes to tracking, on the other hand, it's really smooth. It's got that speed to it. You can kind of go everywhere with this pad, and I would say this is a pad that I would much rather use for tracking games. It's just, I can easily track, it's smooth, I don't have to worry about any texture. I have the speed, and I can stop when I need to. So that is kind of what I would put this pad. If I had to put a category of what games I would use this on, it would be tracking. It feels fantastic on tracking games. Tech FPS, you can still use it. Don't be worried about not being able to use it, but it does not have as much stopping power. Now we're going to get into the comparisons, and I appreciate you guys for listening. So now we're going to break into a comparison. I chose the Tenta-X Oni Oath versus obviously the Inari. When it comes to texture, I would say that the Tenta-X has a slight bit more texture. I was going back and forth on the speed on these. I think that the Inari is 10 to 15% faster than it. It's not like make or break noticeably faster, but it's something you can feel, and it's not like the Seo versus a Hana. It's not like night and day, but it is a little bit faster. It is a little bit smoother. When it comes to pushing, I do think the Tenta-X has a tad bit more. Oddly enough, although this feels more textured on my hand, I do feel a bit more skate feel on this pad. And the stopping power would be a bit better on it. So when it comes to that, if I had to choose between the two, I think I'm going to go with the Inari, just because I have that bit more stopping power than the Tenta-X, and I like the little bit more speed on it. Besides that, this is obviously going to be a bit thinner. They're a similar size. I think they're both 490 by 420, and that's all about I have to cover with these two pads. So for the next comparison, I wanted to bring out the Inari versus the Polarity. The Polarity is kind of true in the middle pad, so I thought it would be a good pad to bring out. Let's start with edges and thickness. These are both 490 by 420. Of course, edge-wise, you can see kind of how this has more of that like circular or like rounded design. It has edges going a bit more in, whereas this is more square and edges don't go in as much. Personally, I prefer this in night and day, just that more rounded, smooth texture, whereas this is a little sharp on your hand if you're rubbing against the edge, which you won't really notice during normal gameplay, but it's a small little nitpick. When it comes to thickness, this is like 1 millimeter. I don't like this. I think it's too thin when it comes to that. It's almost bending my hand when I'm holding it, versus this isn't. Obviously, with the base, the Polarity just sticks better. This slides just a little bit. That's mostly due to the pattern of the silicone. This is a smooth silicone, whereas this is more of like a hexagonal pattern silicone base. When it comes to speed, it's going to be probably quite a bit faster. I would say it's maybe 20-25% faster than the Polarity, but the Polarity is also balanced. This is kind of leaning towards the speed side. Texture-wise, Polarity has noticeably more texture. Same when it comes to stopping power. I would say that I have better stopping power on this pad. I can feel the micros a bit better. I have that extra skate feel, whereas this is great when it comes to stopping power for a smooth pad, but I don't think it beats out a Polarity when it comes to that stopping power, if that makes sense. So for smooth pads, I would say this is pretty damn solid for stopping power, but it doesn't beat something that's more textured like the Polarity that allows you to have that great little micro adjustment. When it comes to games, I think this is a great pad for like the tracking games, the smoothness with the speed, whereas the Polarity kind of fits for everything. It's TAC FPS and tracking, you kind of do everything. But yeah, what puts me off most is just the lesser stopping power along with a little bit less texture. I also like more balanced pads, so if I had to pick, I'm going to take the Polarity, but this does have its benefits when it comes to tracking. I want to break into my conclusion to the Inari. It is $110 balancing speed. Although it is marketed as ultimate speed, I wouldn't say so. When it comes to its texture, it is on the smooth side, and it comes in one of the thinnest pads at 1 millimeters. So to break into the flaws, I would say I don't like how thin this is. It bends in my hand, which doesn't feel great at all, especially if you're moving it around. The edges could be improved as well. They are definitely a bit sharp, especially if you're a wrist aimer. It will bother you. And I wish the corners were a bit better as well. The other thing would be the base. I don't like this smooth silicone. It slips a lot if you put a lot of pressure into it, which probably could be fixed with a little bit of water droplets, but not everyone wants to do that. Now, breaking into good things about it, I do think that the smoothness and the speed of it are a great combo. It has enough stopping power to be good for tracking games. Where I would not put this in is like the TAC FPS category. I don't think it has enough texture and stopping power, along with it being a bit faster, for it to be great for tracking or for TAC FPS. I think tracking games is where this pad absolutely shines when it comes to smoothness and tracking. It just feels great. You have that bit of stopping power. It's not too much where you really need a bunch for TAC FPS, but you have enough where you can stop still. So those are kind of my flaws and positives about it. I would say kind of weigh your own conclusion. Take what I said. Don't listen to all my personal thoughts, more listen to the facts. I appreciate you guys listening, and that's all.